Way, hello, viewer. It is a Saturday, March the 2nd, 2024. I am Mr. Brune, and I trust you are all doing very well today. On this evening's live stream, we are talking. Get this, folks. We are talking about something we love. It is Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, starring William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, and directed by Nicolas Meyer. Yay! But, and it's a big but, enough of my wittering. So, as I always say, we've got lots to get through. And if you've not shut down for the evening, shall we get those guests out? You know it. Let's do it. Okay. First, he is the number one YouTube supermod. It is Melvin of Deeply.
Greetings.
Hello, how are you?
Fan Dabidoze. How are you, Brun? Brun,
Not
sorry,
bad.
Brun.
Not bad, yes.
I
Not
love the
bad.
Beatles.
You're amazing, aren't you? Yes.
I'm shockingly good. I'm shocking. You know something? I should go out and get drunk and get hungover and get beat up or something, just to bring me back to earth. Just to bring me back to earth.
Well, I think you're in the right place to do it.
I think you're right.
Typical Saturday night, my friend.
Who we got next then?
Nice. Great to have you on, mate. Shall we get the next peep out? Yes. Okay. Next. Backbone of the channel. It is Professor Artoo. Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello, my friend.
Greetings, everyone.
Evening. How are you?
Well, I thought I would come on and maybe read some Klingon poetry to you, some Shakespeare or something. But I think we'll get plenty of that later today.
I think we'll save that for later. Yes. Yeah. The optimum moments. So you good, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. Greetings, there, Melvin.
Greetings.
We've been told to get on with it. Shall we get on with it?
No, okay. I don't think we should. I think we should take our time.
2 hours.
How are you?
I'm having an average day, my friend. Yeah. I did. I was up relatively early for me, and I think that's Just as I was getting to sleep last night, the cat walked in the bedroom, and then that was it. I was looking at the ceiling all night. Never mind. So, should we get on with it?
Well, the B-Sides crew had me up all night, so yeah.
Welcome to Live Talk with Mr. Brown Alliance. Boring talk, folks. That's for you.
Speaking of B-roll and B-Sides on Friday nights, I think we might have some.
Oh, yes. Here. Next, everybody, I met the otter yesterday as well. Can you believe it? I met him in person. It is the wonderful Smylexx.
Hey. Why, if we're on sci-fi, why didn't you say, get your stinking paws off me, you damn filthy cat, yesterday?
Different franchise, I think.
Soylent Green's people? Is that is that this one? Multipass? Is that this one? I'll get it eventually.
I think you killed it.
Hi, Brown. Hello, Artoo. Hi, Melvin.
It is I, Brown. How do you know? Just
to be here,
there, folks. Oh, we had a great time yesterday, didn't we?
We did. If only the movie wasn't there to spoil it.
I'm saving my. Yes, we went to see Dune 2. Was it June 2? Anybody know?
I can't remember.
Electric Boogaloo.
It may as well have been, but it's great to have you on, Smylexx. Shall we? Here we go. Smylexx and Mr. Brown, the baby would be called Smile Poo. 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 Poo.
Cheers.
Poo. Anyway, moving on. Great to have you on, mate. Shall we get the next peep out? Yes. Okay. And last but by no means least, he's the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. He's the great mega geek himself, the one and only, Ian David Diaz.
Hello, everybody.
Are you the one and only?
I don't know. I don't think. Oh, I forgot you guys went to see Dune yesterday. You and Smylexx.
Yeah, we
Stuff.
held hands. And
Well,
everything.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was a hot date.
But how did you? So, do you arrange to meet outside the cinema or something, or did you just say, "Smylexx, where are you?" in the cinema, and he put his hand up?
No,
How
sadly,
did that happen?
I knew where he was sitting.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool.
There was no escaping.
All right. Cool.
I was sat in the Tomcat seat.
Absolutely.
So no one went to the London one to see what Platoon looked like then.
No,
He
because
went to the midnight one, didn't he?
no, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't go?
I think he cancelled because it was an open bar. So I think he went to India to see the movie before open bar.
Yeah, he did. He did, but that was on the Thursday, was it not? Open bar? Because when
Oh, I
you
know.
text,
but
when-
it was Thursday night into Friday morning.
He
So
wouldn't have got to. He
No,
wouldn't
no,
have got
it's-
to where he was going in time.
No. He said he was so basically said he was seeing it on Friday night. So was it
What?
Well, that
Was
wouldn't
it-
have been a preview then. That would
No,
have
he
been
Oh,
went, he
regular.
went see it.
Well, maybe
it was
he went-
Thursday night running into Friday.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
right,
was
so-
that was what the midnight showings were doing. They were
Oh, I
putting June on
see.
at like
So-
10 p.m.
He-
on Thursday, and then into Friday
Uh,
morning.
Bear with us,
Oh.
folks.
Yeah.
This
But
may
so
take
did he?
time.
Because like I saw he put something on Twitter, didn't he?
Sorry, folks.
He brought the ticket. I saw the thing he put on
Oh,
Twitter said he
okay.
bought
Well,
the
he must have
ticket.
cancelled it then.
He
if
must
can
have done.
cancel.
He must have. Yeah, you're right.
He really didn't need to be on open bar.
Mm,
He should have just.
I never saw it.
Yeah, this is a new record for getting bogged. Sorry, folks.
It's all right. I'm sure
Yes,
the
and it
folks.
is absolutely riveting.
I'm sure the folks appreciate it. Appreciate what we're
I'm
talking
just
about.
you, Brown. You and Smylexx just completely ruined this whole image that I had in my head. I thought there was going to be like some spy thing going on where you're going to, sit down and say, "I have a wet pocket."
The
I
otters
could
moved
smell-
south
well-
over Moscow.
To be fair, there was a pungent smell of fish in
Oh,
the
yeah.
but I didn't want to say anything.
Most of it's
That's-
cleared up now.
That smell of fish. That's most dates I've ever been on.
Oh, I did.
Is there
Yeah,
all week,
no, I thought it
folks?
was Friday. It was released on. Of course. It'd been
I
Thursday
got to go
night.
see
Bear with
it,
us, folks,
so
while Ian
That's
works
the most
it out.
important thing.
No, I just get it now because he said it was Friday, so I was just assuming it's Friday
Well, it was
evening, but
Friday.
it was Friday morning, wasn't it?
I-
It
I
was
think
really
the
early in
showing
morning.
was late
12.
Thursday. I'd probably say 9:00 p.m. ish.
No. He was seeing one and
then
two, wasn't he?
for Dune 1. Or was
Yeah.
it June? Or was it
Yeah,
June?
yeah, something like that. So and that
And
would
then
finish. Yeah, then they have a little break, and then it would start at
Just
12 on the
talk amongst
dot.
yourselves, folks.
Yeah, the second one would start 12 on the dot, and it go into the morning. Yeah.
Hopefully with
midnight
no
showings.
trailers.
They
Anybody
don't do
hear that
midnight
penny
showings in the
dropping
U.S.
then?
anymore.
Sorry.
I talked over you, Artoo. I
Yeah,
do
said
apologise. Go on.
they don't do midnight showings in the U.S. anymore.
Oh, don't they?
That's really rare.
What?
Oh.
There been some violence.
Okay, look here.
Involved?
So Star Trek, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys, we're
Yeah.
just boomering shit. You know it is. Okay.
So
Should we do
old
that,
men
folks?
getting together, yakking about what.
Yeah.
Good evening, patient peeps in the chat.
Yes. We won't spend the entire time talking about Dune.
We salute your patience. Okay, let's get some doodahs up then. Doodahs. Okay. Captain Spock, everybody. Volume 185 review. Star Trek 6. Undiscovered. Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Undiscovered Co. Cool.
Oh, County.
The undiscovered cow.
Please like, share, subscribe. And if you're that way out, you know what to do. Pays the internet, if anything. Okay, should we move on? Okay. Are we going to do like a slight mini recap of how we feel about the movie? I think we should.
Sure.
Melvin, Star Trek 6, what does it mean to you?
This is a very strange question. It means, if it means anything, it is the sixth movie with the name Star Trek.
Artoo?
That was rubbish, though, wasn't it? Was it a rubbish?
What does it mean to me? Well, no. Star Trek 6. It's a great film. Really love it. It's easily one of my favorite of the original 6 films. Depending on the day you ask me, it's going to be Star Trek 6 or Star Trek 2 that'll be at the top. But I do really enjoy this film. I like the performances. I like that many of the characters really get something to do in this film. There's not you don't get too much of the crew that's kind of left out. And it's just a really good story, some really great performances, and we got some great guest stars that are part of the film as well. So,
Smylexx, same question.
Yeah, I think this is probably my second favorite of the movies. My first, actually controversial, is the motion picture, and then I think maybe this one, and then Wrath of Khan. I do really like the film. I think the actors are all really comfortable in their parts by this point, and let's face it, they should be. It's a good old sort of bottle episode as a movie. Something that Star Trek was very good at doing back in the original 60s, and I think this is a great film.
Ian, you back? Yes, no?
He might
Ian,
not be
back. This is going very well, folks. Melvin, do you want a second shot?
second go.
A second shot. I think this is the best Star Trek movie. For years, I thought Wrath of Khan was the best, and then I got to thinking that they're probably about equal, this and the Wrath of Khan. But then, last couple of years, my mind has changed, and Star Trek 5 is the best one for me.
Here you go, folks. Drew Gordon. It means that Sulu finally gets his own ship and goes off on Captain Kirk adventures, but only in, oh my, George Takei's mind.
Is it
Indeed.
Takai or Takei?
It's Takei, rhymes with gay. That's how you remember it. And it's fine to say that because he says that. So
He says that.
That's a good way to remember it.
there you
There
go.
you go, folks. Moloch, the motion picture is great. I like the motion picture, yes.
I think it's the most Star Trek of all of
It's
the
flawed.
Star Trek films.
Yeah, it's flawed, but yeah.
It feels very, very much like the series.
Ian, you back yet?
Oh, he'll be back when he gets here.
Okay, shall I say my feelings about this movie is it was 1992 it came out in the UK, wasn't it? This was the movie where I knew it was over. It was the final time I'd ever see the original crew. I'd loved Star Trek since I was growing up in the 70s. And it was bittersweet. It was a great movie. Everybody got something to do. It looked great as well, considering that they didn't have much money. But we knew it was their last movie because, well, the Next Generation had stepped in. But honestly, I think they could have done another movie for Star Trek, the original crew. There was another movie in there. Because this one was so well received, they could have done one, but they had to make way. So, yeah, it was bittersweet. It's a great film. It was great to see the crew, one more time.
One more time, yeah.
Yeah. Ian, feelings on this movie?
I love this movie. It's one of my favorite Star Trek movies. Kind of after 3. 3 is my favorite. Yeah, it is very sad at the ending. I remember seeing this in the cinema, feeling really sad when all those signatures came up on the screen.
Yeah.
William Shatner was a bit over the hill to have a fight with a monster in the jail sequence. I felt that that was a bit out of place. But apart from that, I love the film. It was very intriguing. Detective Spock, yeah, and the usual Kirk, two-fisted Kirk, and McCoy moaning and groaning. In fact, is this the first time McCoy's on the poster of the major Star Trek? Because this is the major one. I know there's a few more, but this is the major one that they went with, wasn't it? And McCoy's on it.
Yeah.
But was McCoy on the others as well? I don't think he was he?
But you
I'm
can
not
tell
sure,
this is triple billing here. You
Yeah.
can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was always about those three anyway. The films,
Yeah.
weren't it? It was always about those three, and I just love this film. It made me feel sad at the ending. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was a great one to go out on. And yeah, what more can I say? It's worth your time if you haven't seen it.
Here you go, folks. Manuel Grell. Hello, my friend. For me, 6 is the last Star Trek movie, just as there are only 3 Indiana Jones movie and 1 Matrix.
Yeah.
Here you go, MC. Hello, my friend. This is probably my most watched Star Trek movie, even more than Wrath of Khan, which I love.
I do like Wrath of Khan. I still think it's overrated. I think Star Trek 3 is the best one. A lot of people disagree with me, but Star Trek 3 was the one that was most surprising out of every Star Trek film, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is the album track. This is the album track that you grow to love over the course of listening to it a million times.
Nice.
It's not the big single.
Yeah.
It's the one that you sort of go, oh, that's actually really good.
Was Star Trek the Motion Picture the filler track?
that was a B-side.
That's the overblown one with a lot of prog rock.
You do appreciate it though. I mean, the first time I saw it, I thought it was absolute nonsense. But throughout the years, when you watch it again, yes, the acting's over the top. Special effects are still amazing. But you do get to appreciate it more, and you more and more you realize that is a true Star Trek movie. The first one, it really is.
Well, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I think, was the most expensive movie ever made in its time. I think it had a budget of about $50 million or something.
Was it 42 million?
Yeah, it started significantly lower than that, and it just continued to overrun the budget time and again. And I think it started at 15 million actually, and then it eventually ballooned to, they think, around 44 million.
Wow!
Why couldn't they have given this film 44 million? It'd have been amazing.
Well, yeah, they should have. They really should.
I mean, if they'd given this that kind of budget to number 5, perhaps we would have got a better third act. Because
I
kind of like. I don't hate 5, but it has.
I don't
either.
I think the reason why it doesn't work is because of William Shatner and his ego. In my opinion, I think it all boils down to William Shatner in the end. A lot of people don't like him, especially the people that worked on Star Trek. They had to give him the director's thing because it was in the contract a long time ago that anything that Leonard Nimoy did, he had to do. So by default, he got to direct 5. But a lot of people that I know said that his ego ran away with him. He wasn't too bad on set. A lot of people say he was fine as
professional.
a director. Yeah. When it came to the story and stuff like that, the pre-production, he was demanding loads of things. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on 5 as well. That I don't think the budget was the issue. I think the director was the issue.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
There is a cool shot in there though. When they get into the elevator and it goes up, and they come out. They get in and they come out on a different set, and all they do basically is just rotate it. And it's, But it's very cleverly done. And it's the first time I think it had ever been done that way.
Here you go, folks. And Don. The TNG movies are painful. I was so excited at the time. Yeah.
I don't mind number 8.
Okay.
I enjoy First Contact.
Yeah. That's
the rest,
You know what I equate it to? The actual production and people didn't like William Shatner, so they kind of killed him off. They killed Kirk off. It's the same thing. The BBC don't like Doctor Who. Everybody thinks BBC likes Doctor Who, but BBC really don't like Doctor Who at all. They like it now because it's all super super
And, it,
woke.
and if that wasn't
Rainbows and
evident back then,
unicorns.
it's certainly evident now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because he's
exactly.
not even on the posters anymore, is he?
No,
Poor old
he's
Yeah.
not.
Shatner.
They
No.
don't
Okay.
like William Shatner because William
No.
Shatner stands for, you know,
Common
alpha,
sense.
alpha
Yes.
male. He stands for that,
Okay.
doesn't he?
So, right then, Professor Artoo, do you have a mini recap from
Yeah,
last
sure.
week?
I was going to mention something real quick. We were talking about how we see DeForest here on the poster. I think it's the only time we've seen McCoy on the posters. Nimoy, specifically in helping produce this movie, wanted to make sure that Kelly got better billing.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
because in previous films he had not been treated very well, his salary had been extremely low, so he found a way to arrange $1 million salary for DeForest for this
Oh,
film. That was the
fantastic.
first time he had ever done that. So
But
that was pretty cool.
he didn't care though. He was just happy to
He
work.
just
Oh,
loved
yeah.
it. He just
Yeah,
loved it.
but I mean, a lot of people that I know that knew him said that he really didn't care because he was of such an age. He just wanted to work and he wasn't getting any work. So
Yeah.
when Star Trek came
Yeah.
along, he was so happy, and he knew he was getting a low wage for most of them, but he just didn't care because he was retired from that point
Mhm.
and he just wanted to work. So there you go.
Yeah, it's
What a nice
to,
man.
Nice to hear a story of Nimoy looking out for
Yeah.
the rest of the cast, though. You know, looking out for him.
Shatner didn't care though about the
No,
cast.
well, you know, he cared about his own salary. That's for that's
Here you
for
go,
damn
folks.
sure.
And Don again. I had a mug of Picard and Kirk from First Contact, but looking back, I wished it wasn't made.
Same here. Same here.
It would have been Generations, actually.
Yeah,
Generations.
Generations.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was a
Sorry.
terrible movie.
that's all
Generations.
right. Yeah, there we go. You got it there.
Terrible, terrible, terrible movie.
Yeah.
Generations.
They
Good
didn't need to kill him.
cinematography, though.
Ugh.
It has got. I mean, just looking for the positives, it's very well lit.
They couldn't let Kirk have his happy ending. They couldn't let him.
No,
No.
Well, that's
No.
the thing, you see. Everybody thinks woke only started like 5 or 10 years
There you
ago.
go,
It
folks.
didn't. It was there. It was there from a very long time. It was
They
just
killed
brewing,
Captain Kirk.
when
It's-
they did stuff like that.
Woke has been around at least the 1930s because I remember rainbows in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it
sorry
was
about that.
around.
Killed it again, Melvin. Professor Artoo, you got
Yeah.
that recap, mate?
yeah, sure. So we kind of introduced, got started with the movie last time around. We talked about a lot of the details behind the scenes. Nicolas Meyer coming back to direct this film after he had directed Star Trek II, and it also helped with writing Star Trek IV. Helped Nimoy write that. So that premiered December 6, 1991. Score by Cliff Idleman. We talked a lot about some different parts of that we enjoyed from the first film. So just to kind of bring us back up to speed, we got the film started out with Captain Sulu on the USS Excelsior, and they experience and monitor the explosion of Praxis, a Klingon moon that was noted as their key energy production facility. So the explosion damaged the Klingon homeworld, and they can't afford to be on a war footing anymore. They can't afford to be in a Cold War with the Federation. So in secret, Spock had begun negotiations behind the scenes to end hostilities between the Klingon Empire and the Federation. So they bring in the crew of the USS Enterprise and command Captain Kirk and his crew to escort the Klingon Chancellor Gorkon to Earth to begin the peace process. And of course, Kirk is none too pleased by this. He's very much opposed to this assignment due to his history with the Klingons and, of course, the death of his son David at the hands of Klingons, which happened in Star Trek III. And then on the Enterprise, we are introduced to a new character, Valeris, played by Kim Cattrall, who's our new helmsman for the ship. Once the Enterprise meets up with Gorkon's ship, they invite him and his retinue aboard for a state dinner, we are then introduced to Gorkon, played by David Warner, and General Chang, played by Christopher Plummer. So I think that's where we wrapped up last
Yep.
week.
Okay. So dinner party, folks.
Do we hear the chimes at midnight? He says.
So,
Oh, yes.
first scene, this is where Plumber's trying to work out how to use cutlery.
Yeah, this is great. He's kind of looking around at everybody else to see what to do, isn't he?
Well, if they don't use cutlery, they just eat with their hands. Then is that what they're saying? Because one of them was eating with his hands, wasn't he?
Several of them, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
You get some
napkins were a bit confusing.
You get some fun, disgusted looks from different members of the Federation crew. It's pretty amusing.
Here you go, folks. Mr. Ian found the paperback novel of this movie at my gym this week. Coincidence? Maybe.
I think that's
That's funny.
Mr. Brown's viral marketing. He's been leaving them all over the country.
Okay, so this is where Gorkon's offering a toast, isn't it?
This was the strange thing. It's like let's invite our bitter enemies over to dinner and get them drunk. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
We got a pretty good shot of the nasty food there. They
Yeah, you
had
can
a bunch
tell.
of
You can tell it's
blue-
foreign because it's blue.
It's a bunch. A
You
lot
can
of
tell
it
it's
was
science fiction. It has to
A
be
lot of
blue,
it was
doesn't
dyed potatoes and
Ugh.
pasta that they had dyed blue and green and so on. During this scene, in fact, I guess some people, some backers of the film who were providing some funding, had come by to see some of the production. So Meyer really wanted to put on a good show for them. He didn't want any arguments on set. So he pulled out his wallet and offered the actors $10 a bite to eat that nasty looking blue food on the table. So, being actors and in loving
Christ.
money, they dug in and ate. And in fact, Shatner had his fill during the shoot and chased down Meyer afterwards to pay up, or at least that's the legend.
Yeah, apparently Shatner ate a squid that had been dyed blue,
Oh,
which takes us back to that fish you ate again, doesn't it?
Yeah, reminds me of
It has come-
the snacks I brought to the cinema yesterday.
Also, I know a person that was an extra on this film and several other films.
really?
He said basically that the hardest thing ever when he does a Star Trek movie is wearing those uniforms. Those uniforms are so hot under those lights. He says he sometimes he just can't stand it, and sometimes he wore what is it, a Klingon uniform? Well, that's even worse, he says. So
Wouldn't the squid? That's what I was thinking. Wouldn't the squid have gone a bit rancid under the studio lights? So
probably.
he was brave.
Yeah, you want to get it done in like take 1 or 2, don't you? At the very latest,
Yeah.
you don't want to be into take 16 with this one.
I mean, look at the makeup that these people have got on their heads and stuff. They must have been sweating like pigs, all of them. You know, all the guys that are playing Klingons and stuff. It's just under those lights, it's ridiculously hot. Because they didn't have green lights in those days. You know, the lights they have today is not so hot. It's all LEDs. So
Would they have been sweating like Klingon pigs?
yeah, well, Klingons don't sweat, do they, or do they? That's the question. I know they don't have tear ducts. I know that.
I don't think they pant like dogs, so
No.
they probably, maybe they do.
Okay, so the toast is
To the undiscovered country.
Yeah, a Shakespeare
So-
reference to death, isn't it? Death is the undiscovered country.
Yes, and of course, the Undiscovered Country. Also, the original title that Meyer wanted for Star Trek II.
It was, yeah.
He
right.
wanted that to use,
okay.
and they overrid him. Actually, basically, they changed the marketing without even telling him. He was quite pissed, and so when he came back for this movie, he basically was like, "I'm calling it the Undiscovered Country, and you're not going to change it." And so, actually, once he gave them his rationale behind it, then it made more sense. But yeah, that was the
I could
original
see how he
title
could.
for-
I could see how he could make that that argument for Wrath of Khan as well,
Mhm.
using that
Yeah.
title. Yeah.
Sure.
as I said last week. Meyer did all the classics. He was the expert with all the like Shakespeare and
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
As
because you get
Nicolas-
Melville, don't you, in
Yeah.
in Wrath of Khan and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's very talented, Nicolas Meyer. Don't forget, he was responsible for Time After Time, which was an absolutely brilliant film. I don't know if you guys have
Yes,
seen
that's
it.
a lot of fun.
Yep,
Yeah.
great one. Where he met and befriended David Warner, who we
That's
see
right.
here in this scene. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, played
And Malcolm McDowell's in that, right? If I'm
yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
yes, yeah.
Who, of course, turns up in the next movie. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
a
a very
shame.
very funny story
Okay,
about that
go.
too, but I don't want to get off track.
Nicolas Meyer's very, very talented. It's a shame that he didn't go on to bigger things. You know what I mean? So there you go.
I think the Undiscovered Country is a really stupid name, and the Rathican is a much better name.
Well,
is.
I mean, we
It's
have
more
had 40 odd
dynamic.
years to make it to let it settle in our brains, haven't we? So
Here you go, folks. In the chat, ironically, Uhura is the most rathethest the smell.
Yeah, but that doesn't the Vulcans don't they think humans smell according to Enterprise?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
mentioned several times.
Yeah.
that they have much more acute senses,
Mm.
and that humans stink.
Yeah,
For them.
yeah.
Yeah.
We, according to Chinese people, we smell of dairy.
yeah, milk. Yeah,
Yeah, we smell of dairy, folks.
Okay then.
because they don't have a lot of it.
Okay.
Mm.
let's move on.
I think this is one of them weird facts that may or may not be true. Everybody in China is lactose intolerant.
I don't know if that's true.
Somebody Google that. I believe that was reported
okay.
to me as being correct.
Huh. Well,
So
I know
you
there's
don't-
plenty of intolerance, but I'm not sure if it's lactose.
You don't get that on Nerdrotic, folks. Let's move on then. Okay. So that's where it's from then. Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1.
I'm going to take his word on that one.
So am I. But Spock is trying to show everybody that listen, even though these Klingons have killed and maimed and destroyed and stuff like that, everything and anything's worth saving. That's what Spock was trying to show everyone. But again, Captain Kirk says at the end of the day, we're too old to look past that. Do you know what I mean? So very clever film this is. Very, very clever.
Here you go, folks. Drew Gordon. Yeah, sour milk is slang for whites in China. Wow.
Is it?
I did not know. And Sword in the Storm.
No.
We need swappers for this
Oh.
bit.
Yeah, where is Swappers?
I don't know.
Very good. Very good.
What were they drinking though? What's the blue drink in there?
Romulan ale, isn't it?
Romulan
No,
ale.
I know it is, but in
Oh, you mean
real
what
life,
it's actually?
yeah,
What is it?
Yeah.
Probably Kool-Aid.
Ribena.
Kool-Aid probably. Yeah, you're right. That's blue, isn't it? That power drink. Is that power drink? There's a power drink in it in America that's blue. Anybody? No?
Powerade.
Powerade. I was
Gatorade.
thinking...
Gatorade. That's it.
No, Gatorade's green, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I thought
Yeah,
it was
pretty sure it
blue.
is.
Oh.
I'm sure I've seen Elvis drinking some.
Is it like blue raspberry or blue cola or
Could be Gatorade. Somebody else is saying Gatorade in the chat.
something like that?
I could have sworn it was blue when I was in the States.
Well, you might be right. I know I've seen greenish bottles, but hey,
There's plenty of different blue beverages it could be.
Yeah.
it looks delicious.
It washed down the blue squid beautifully. Okay. So, who wants to read the lines?
Artoo.
You've not experienced Shakespeare until you've read him in the original Klingon.
But if they hate humans so much, why are they clinging, get it, onto Shakespeare? Why? I don't understand.
I mean, I guess it's infiltrated their culture. It travels.
I guess truth can be universal. They can recognize something from Shakespeare that is applicable to their culture. That's how I tend to see it. It does seem rather silly,
I mean, Shakespeare
honest.
travels internationally in this planet. So
different languages and cultures on Earth.
Japan has made movies based on Shakespeare plays. So why not? Why not? I guess.
Yeah.
Here you go, folks. Fat Lobber. Blue Nun. Who remembers that?
Delicious
Christ.
blue nun.
Can you
Was
still
it
get
was
Blue
it
Nun?
blue? Was it blue? It was white though, wasn't
No.
it? It wasn't blue. It was
The
the
Francais adore le piador.
Mm.
Oh, so
Okay.
they say. Okay, I want to change the subject, right?
Uh-oh.
I had to Google
Uh-oh.
it because my OCD wouldn't allow me to not
Oh,
Google
dear.
it.
Sorry, folks.
92% of adults in China suffer from lactose intolerance.
Is that right?
92%.
Wow.
Wow.
Goodness me.
Let's see.
Is that
Yeah,
Google that you found that out on?
Well, it was something somebody told me years ago, but I just Googled it now.
All right. So are they all black? The
Chinese.
the Chinese.
What?
Wait a minute now.
Is it AI?
Ugh.
AI Google.
No comment. I don't want to upset my Chinese communist overlords.
Dr. Iceman, is that why they drink soy milk? Oh, well, I drink it as well. I'm a soy boy. Do you know that, folks?
We're not all
And yes,
perfect.
dairy ain't good for you, folks. It ain't.
Apparently
It
not.
ain't. Okay. So this is Christopher Plummer just enjoying
lyrical.
himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
just chewing the scenery. It's great.
Who would like to say
He's
it?
pretty cool, isn't he, Chris Plummer? Just this week I watched one of my favorite genres is 70s crime movies, and I watched a film called The Silent Partner from about 1975.
Oh, you know something? I was thinking about that the other day. That was
Really?
one
Yeah, because
with Elliot Gould.
yeah, and he's a complete
couldn't remember
psycho
the
in
name.
that. Yeah, and he's a complete psychopath in that one. He's really sort of masochistic and over the top. And I thought, yeah, what a brilliant part. And here he is. He's kind of restrained, even though he's playing this kind of warrior type. He's pretty much the most polite person at the table.
Who would like some facts from the Internet Help Desk? Yes, it is. Especially babies need calcium and milk fats to properly develop. Cow's milk from over 6 months is very good for them. Yes. But we get taught to drink it for the rest of our lives, which ain't good. Okay. Oh, this is good, isn't it?
Quick, somebody come in with some facts about cheese. Help us out.
Cheese is good, and
No,
English
it
cheese
is.
is better than American.
It's unbelievable, is what it is.
Non
you've got to be-
pasteurized.
You've got to think carefully about your choices.
This particular set that they're on here is a redress of the conference room from The Next Generation.
It certainly is.
So in some of the earlier seasons of The Next Generation, you'll see these golden bronze sort of Enterprise models up against the wall. And then after that,
Oh, really?
they're not there. After this film, they're not there. When they rebuilt the set, they didn't put those models back up. There's just sort of a textured gray wall where that was before. So, yeah, partly because they had to blow up bits of this set when they did when they finished the film. We'll get to
It's
that
good
later.
filmmaking, though, isn't it? To keep the cost down.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was very common in Star Trek of the day to reuse sets from one production to another. Yeah, one of the ways they kept down those prices. I do like the Klingon uniforms in this. It's really interesting. They don't quite look like the Klingon uniforms from The Next Generation, even though we've already seen those.
Well, these more
they're-
ceremonial.
Yeah, they seem like sort of evocative of that, almost like they're dress uniforms.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of interesting, more
Here
padded
you go,
rather than
folks.
armor.
In the chat, is his eye patch riveted onto his face? What the? It is.
Well, it looks like it is, doesn't it?
Why?
So-
I wonder
I'd
why.
like to think so.
because it looks menacing. That's why. That's why it looks menacing.
It would have been worse if they just put a screw nail through the middle, right?
Yeah.
What's Chang doing here? Is he kind of doing a bit of posturing with Kirk?
No, he's trying to be as hospitable as he can because he knows what's coming next, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want anyone to suspect him. So he's trying to be very friendly and
Oh,
the best
okay.
way he can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's
Pretending
feeling him
to
out
be
at the
nice.
same time, though.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's also a Kirk fanboy. He admitted when he arrived. So
Yeah.
you know.
Mm.
Okay. So this is where he says here, would you be willing to give up Starfleet?
That's yeah, when Spock chimes in, doesn't he?
Yeah. Kirk doesn't answer, and
Mm.
Spock
Oh, this
chimes
is
in instead.
Spock speaking now, isn't it?
Yes.
Mm.
I believe the captain feels that Starfleet's mission has always been one of peace.
And then Kirk intervenes, doesn't he? Doesn't
Yeah,
want Spock to speak for him.
Yeah, lots of Spock speaking for Captain Kirk in this
Yes.
movie.
Yep. And once again, as we had in the scene previously, they're on opposite ends of the table.
Yeah,
Spock
been kept
Spock-
apart.
Spock knows that Kirk is still harboring the revenge factor inside of him, isn't he? When he looks at the Klingons, he's upset that they killed his son, so Spock's trying to smooth it out, isn't he?
Yep. But still very far apart in their ideology and how
Yeah,
they feel about
yeah.
this particular thing. They're separated by from one end of the table to
Mm.
the other. So, more
So
great iconography in the film.
This is Kirk now speaking, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? I do feel sad that Leonard Nimoy carried on playing Spock in The Next Generation, because the job that he did after this was it with the not the Klingons, the Romulans, wasn't it? He was
the ambassador.
Yeah, ambassador or something like that. And it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of made Spock look a bit slightly weaker, if you know what I mean. When I saw
Yeah,
that,
I think
I
they were
wish it
using-
ended here.
They were kind of using him like a token, really, weren't they? You know, here's something you remember from the past. It's almost like passing the torch and a seal of approval and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's why he's in the
what
J.J. Abrams ones as well. That's
to get it acceptance, to get it validation.
Exactly. Yeah.
It must
come
be
on,
Star
proper
Trek
fans.
because Spock's in it.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, and here we have
I understand
Chang.
why he did it though, for the money, but it's
Cha-ching.
still cheapening.
Yeah, but he
Spock's
loved
legacy.
he as we said earlier, previous streams before Star Trek, he'd had enough when it was Star Trek 2.
No,
And
he
then
didn't. It's not that he didn't have it.
And then he had a moment with the test screenings of watching people.
He had a
react,
moment when he wrote
and then
that
he
stupid
realised.
novel saying that he wasn't Spock, and then suddenly
And then he
he realised he was
realised.
Spock. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And he embraced it.
yeah, he embraced it. Even, I mean,
Yeah.
all this rubbish about him wanting to leave and stuff like that. It's not really true, really. Yes, he was considering it, but he didn't definitely say he wanted to leave.
No, I think it was a case of he was just sick of being typecast and
Exactly,
wanted to
yeah.
expand and get out and do more.
Yeah.
And the public were unable to accept him as anything other than Spock, basically. And after a while, I think he kind of just went, well, I guess I'm Spock. I guess I know what's going to be said on the news report when I die. So, let's just go
and
with
there
this.
was also a very long running contract dispute with Paramount over being paid for his likeness and a lot of other stuff that had left him very bitter towards wanting to do the films. He didn't want to come back for the second series that they were planning, and then when they started doing a film, he wasn't real sure about that, but they kind of wrapped up those contract issues and basically said, we part of wrapping up these contract issues, we need you to come back for the film. And so he did eventually come back for the first film. And after he made the first film, his feelings about playing Spock changed. He really did enjoy being on the set and filming again, and the different type of environment of making a film versus making a television show, I think was a big thing for him.
Here you go, folks. Sword in the Storm. 45 minutes in, and we've covered 1 minute of film. That's pretty good for us.
Yeah,
he's on
pretty
on
good.
brand. That is on
That's
brand.
pretty good. And
Were you
then
here for the
Sword
RoboCop
says,
stream?
Classic Brown.
when do we do Lord of the Rings?
That's all of 2026.
Yes.
Christ, can you imagine? Wow.
Yeah, Leonard Nimoy wrote the book called I Am Not Spock,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then his next book was called I Am Spock.
I am Spock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he realised. Yeah,
That used to be a question in Trivial Pursuit years ago. I
Mm.
think he just embraced it, didn't he? He
did,
realized
yeah.
what he had, because it was loved everywhere he went. They used to go to all the conventions and things,
Yeah.
and realized what he had. I
Like-
haven't seen him in much else aside from Star Trek. It was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
He's in
He's great in
Columbo.
that,
He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Columbo,
He was
TV
also
Tucker.
Mission
He was in an
Impossible.
old western.
Mission
Yeah, Mission
Mission
Impossible.
Impossible. He was in.
He was
yeah.
in an old western with Yul Brynner and Richard.
He was also
Penner.
in Fringe. He was in Fringe as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Played
He
one
was.
of the main crazy people. So yeah, I mean, he's been in quite a lot, and also he did a lot of voiceovers in what's that comedy show with all those nerds?
Oh,
Big Bang Theory.
yeah.
Big Bang Theory. He did a couple of.
He
stints
He
for
also
that
did
as
an
well, didn't he?
episode of, I don't know if you said Simpsons. The
Yeah, he did.
X-Files one.
Yeah, he did.
It's
Yeah.
a very good episode of The Simpsons.
Okay.
In space, all warriors are cold warriors.
Mm.
Oh, this is Chekhov piping in, isn't it?
Hashtag believe all planets.
Yeah, I know, but he is being a bit racist there, isn't he? Let's face it.
Sovereign claim to an alien
Yeah.
human race.
Yeah.
Was he being racist or was he just dumb?
Dumb.
Yeah. I think it's just poor word choice, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would he'd obviously be cancelled now, wouldn't he?
No, but who's the Klingon girl? She was absolutely right. You should hear what you're saying. You know, their very word is, and then she says it.
yeah.
She's right. She's completely right. You know,
the daughter,
yeah.
as it were.
In the chat, did they give Chekhov a low seat?
Yeah, I think there was
He
a
needed
fan
high
above
chair.
him.
He's on the kids' table until a few minutes over.
Yeah. I think there was a fan above him and didn't want his wig to fly off, I think. I don't know.
You can
There
sit
you go.
near Kirk, but you've got to be about 3 inches shorter than him.
Nimoy also did Futurama.
Oh,
yes.
most of the crew. Yeah, there was a whole Star Trek episode of Futurama. Absolute classic.
I love Futurama.
They used to do scenes with the heads as well, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they
There
did,
was
yeah.
a couple scenes with that with Nimoy.
Human rights, yeah. It's absolutely right.
Human rights. How dare you?
Yeah. Is that Greta Thunberg underneath that makeup?
It's very similar to something that's going on in real life, isn't it? On planet Earth at the moment.
A bit, yep.
Prophecy on Star Trek 6, everybody.
So Chancellor Putin.
Why, the very
Too
name
soon?
is
Too soon?
Vathaseth.
How dare you?
But you know what, right? Seriously though, it's so weird what's happening now on in real life, isn't it? That's mirroring so many different films. It's a bit scary, let's face it.
1984 is the main one.
That's it, yeah. And then we got AI quickly creeping in, which will probably end up as T2.
Yeah.
It's not going to go that far.
I hope not.
You know,
I really
it's
hope
quite
not.
strange. This is something that has just been. It seems quite obvious to me when you see the Terminator, how Skynet realizes that humans are the threat. And I'm thinking, if you had artificial intelligence, and if it was reasonably intelligence at all, of course it's going to realize humans are the threat. We're maniacs. We're maniacs. Of course it's going to know we're the bad guys.
Here you go, folks. Dr. Iceman, I can't believe the term Vathaseth exists in Star Trek.
That was one of Gene Roddenberry's biggest problems with this
Really?
script, with this particular direction that they went with this film. You know, he had a very utopian idea of who these people would be, which was a problem.
What, even Klingons?
Well, not Klingons,
They were
but
at war, so
yeah, not Klingon, but with just the humans.
the Federation, the humans.
The humans, the Federation. We would be past all of these things. We would be past all of these things. We wouldn't have any interpersonal conflicts. You know, and while that's beautiful, it is.
There's no conflict.
I definitely credit him for his vision for Star Trek. I think taking it to the nth degree really just would end up with nothing entertaining at all.
Yeah.
There has to be conflict.
Well, he was the worst thing for Star Trek as he got older because he was very demanding on what he wanted on Star Trek. And it didn't serve Star Trek as it was at that time, so he was becoming a problem.
Because
Well,
Star
Yeah,
Trek
a man out
moved
of
on.
time, I suppose, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And to think that Star Trek was the product of only Gene Roddenberry is also rather mixed.
Yeah.
Obviously, he brought in people like Gene Kuhn and DC Fontana. They really helped to form out what Star Trek was. It was not Gene's singular
Absolutely,
vision.
DC Fontana's some of the best episodes. I mean, and you're absolutely right. Those the writers, and particularly the ones that were reoccurring on the episodes, they were the ones that kind of really helped shape a lot of the
Yes.
mythology.
Yeah. So yeah, love Gene Roddenberry. I would never particularly say anything bad about him. I think he had an amazing vision, but yeah, some of the, like I said, kind of taking his ideas to the nth degree just kind of ends up with this world where nothing interesting ever happens because no one has any conflict ever, and it seems really weird.
Here you go, folks. Old Cranky Gamer. We had 3 great seasons with no internal conflicts within the crew.
Well, nobody likes Sulu, really.
Yeah.
Oh my.
My.
Yeah.
We haven't gone past this meal yet, have we? We're still here.
Okay, so she's saying it is no more than a Homo sapiens only club.
Yeah.
Present.
Were you
company
calling a Homo
accepted.
sapien? Oh, I see. I see what you said there.
Present company accepted.
It's like the Captain Cup from the 1960s would have punched her right in the mouth.
Yeah, that's not true.
So McCoy's getting some lines.
Ooh, yeah. We need breathing room.
1938, Hitler.
It's Mr. Hilter.
Sorry, yes, you're right.
It's great how he says this.
Rubber.
That's the fella.
Earth, Hitler, 1938. It's great. Sharp, yes.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's really funny how it isn't funny, but it's really funny how the Klingons don't recognize the fact that they've murdered and destroyed a lot of things. They're just ignoring it, aren't they?
Yeah.
But still, Kirk should never have said that, though.
Yeah.
No, but then again, it's the same with conflicts here on Earth, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
People play the victim and then they play the even though they were the aggressor. I mean, we can talk about modern day politics, but let's not bother.
No.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I do.
We can add to that earlier the invite over your mortal enemy, get them drunk, and then call them Nazis.
That's the internet. just the internet all the time.
Yeah.
Welcome to social media.
Yeah.
But you know what, right? What Spock is trying to convey is that we should be better than this. That's what Spock is. That's what he's trying to get the people around him to believe. And he's absolutely right. If we're going to draw the line here and have peace, we've got to be better than the people before us.
We need Spock now in real life.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. You got to hold your own to higher standards before you start pointing the fingers at other people.
Yeah.
We can point the finger at Russia and China and anybody else all you want, but I mean, while we're forcing people to have vaccinations things and putting journalists in jail,
demonetized.
Apologies. While we're forcing people to take super smarties.
Too late now, mate.
Yeah,
and locking up journalists, we should really shut up.
Yeah,
until we can do better.
If you want to do better, you have to be better than the people that caused the problems in the first place.
You've got to do better, Senator.
You've got to do better, Senator.
Mega Geek.
Yeah. You gotta do better.
You said we've got some real life Spocks, Ian.
Yeah, in the world, of course we have. Of course we have people that are trying their best to try and make people see that doing the same thing to the people that oppressed you in the first place is not you're not better than them if you're doing the same thing. It's all over the shop.
No.
So you've got to be better than that. You've got to do better, Senator. Yeah. I see we have a long way to go. We certainly do.
He's so cool.
Yeah, he is. What a great
Um,
actor.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Mm.
Really good dinner scene, yes.
Yeah. And then the next line is, "We should do this again sometime." Wasn't that Kirk?
Oh, do-
Yeah.
I love that
Ah.
smile on Kirk's face. It's like
Yeah.
it just does everything, doesn't it? He's just
Yeah.
trying his best to keep it together. Just get out of my sight. That's the smile. That's the smile you make at your boss as he's leaving.
But
Um,
again, right, it's Spock and the Chancellor that's trying to make them see that this is not going to help, because he goes up to Kirk and he says, you don't trust me, do you? Do you know what I mean? And I don't blame you. Do you know what I mean? He's offering the olive branch, and
Yep.
Kirk is being smug, and Spock and him are the ones that are trying to make everybody see that this is pointless. It's useless. If we want peace, we have to come to some kind of agreement, some kind of middle ground, and be happy with it, and again, mirror in real life, right? So
Nice bit of blocking there as well, isn't there?
with
They're not
with
standing in line,
Scotty.
are they? They're all standing
No,
so they can
with-
see their faces.
yeah, Scotty in the back. Going,
Yeah.
It is funny to see. It is funny to see how short Plummer is compared to the rest of the
Oh, yeah,
Klingons.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. You'd
But
have thought
he's
they'd
a
give him some
clever one.
platforms, wouldn't you?
He's a clever Klingon, though. He doesn't need height.
We've got super chat, folks. Old Cranky Gamer for $5. Thank you, my friend. When you point a finger at someone, remember that 3 are pointing back at you.
Mm.
I think he's working for the Chinese. That's an old Chinese proverb if ever I read one.
Mhm.
I think I read that in a Chinese restaurant. My cracker when I opened it.
Yeah, cracker.
My cracker.
I've got a better one than that.
Crackers.
I've got a better Chinese proverb than that.
Uh-oh.
What's that? Go on in.
Will I get
Man with-
demonetized again?
No, not this time.
Brace
Not this
yourself.
time.
Mm.
Man with hand in pocket, feel cocky all day.
That's a good one.
Welcome. Yeah, very good. Okay. You don't
Yeah.
trust me, do
Mm.
you?
Mm.
David Warner, fantastic.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
incredible.
Mm.
Great actor.
Yes, him and Plummer, they're both seasoned actors. You can give them anything and they will do it
And Warner-
believably.
It's funny too because Warner. I mean, he's been in so many high-profile projects, but he was still a working actor. He took on
was,
just
yeah.
about any job he was offered, and
Yep.
there's some pretty hilarious films out there. There's one in particular that was picked up by Mystery Science Theater 3000, where he plays two different roles that are opposing each other in the film, and quite literally, they just couldn't find someone to fill the other role, and he said, "Well, what if I do it and you just pay me twice?"
But
They
you
said,
know
"Sure,
what?
yeah, go for it."
But you know what, right? Those kind of actors are the best actors.
They are.
Because I remember George Kennedy was talking.
George Kennedy.
When they interviewed George Kennedy, and George Kennedy is the person that if you showed a picture of to a normie, they would say, "Oh, he's the guy in."
Yeah,
and I'll never
if
remember.
he gets on
right?
your plane, you get
Yeah.
off.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
George Petroni.
But that's what he was saying. He was saying that
Petroni.
he can walk down the road, he can go to a bar, and he doesn't get mobbed. He goes, he'd rather have this kind of career than a career that
Sure.
Brad Pitt has. And it's the same thing with Warner, and it's the
Yeah,
same thing.
just
with
the right
Plummer.
level of fame, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Not too much, not too little.
And he was working right up until the end. I mean, he was working right up
Mhm.
until his death, I think.
He was,
Warner.
yeah.
He was pretty much working the year before.
Smylexx, remind the people in the chat of the story of you and the urinal.
Yes, I did. I met him at a convention, and yes, he was standing at the very next urinal to me.
Who? Which one?
David Warner.
Oh, David Warner.
Yeah.
Did he lean over and say, "You don't trust me, do you?"
I refused to give him any eye contact. I noticed it was him, and I refused to look round.
Wow.
Let's shake hands now. No, let's not.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And he's great under the makeup too. Warner
He
works
is.
really well under the makeup when he's
Yeah.
playing those different characters.
But that's the thing, you see, that him and Plummer gotten to the point that an agent would say to any films that are happening, well, we got David Warner, he's available. And the director and the producer would go, yeah, he's sellable. Let's get him. We know what we're going to get when we get him. And that's the power that those two had, even though they didn't have huge fame like Brad Pitt or George Clooney. they were known in the industry, and people, when they saw their faces, didn't remember the names, but remembered who they were from other films. So they were in a great position, more so than
Mhm.
the people that got bombarded with money and huge fame. You know. There you go.
If there is to be a brave new world, our generation is going to have the hardest time.
Yeah.
Is that what we're thinking now?
No.
Seems
Well,
that way,
the
but-
thing is,
God
thing
help
is-
us.
that generation is a good thing. The generation after us putting this crap into the world is not a good thing. So that's all I can say.
Okay.
That's a good little weave he's got there on his head, old William Shatner.
So look,
Yeah.
Look
Good
at
move.
that. Looks
it's
real.
not bad.
Mm.
He must have had the same wig guy as Sean Connery. Sean Connery had amazing wigs, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He did.
Our generation is going to have the hardest time living in it.
Mm.
Get a real good shot of his Lincoln beard there.
Yeah.
Strip.
This is Gary
Yeah.
Kurt's beard.
Again, as we said last week, every frame just looks fantastic. Doesn't it? Great direction. Yes, no.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
it's very
Excellent.
cool.
It's amazing.
No, it's
Kill
very,
it, folks,
it's
sorry.
very good. It's very good. He knows when to get the close-ups.
David Warner.
And another Shakespeare reference.
Artoo, you want to do the line?
Parting is such sweet sorrow. Captain.
Very good.
You can
Have we
imagine
not
that in a
heard the
different voice.
chimes at
Yeah.
midnight?
That parting is sweet sorrow. If you said that in a gay voice, it's got completely different meaning there, Captain.
Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Is he just playing with him now?
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's
He
like,
knows
he's
what's
like
coming.
a cat with a toy, isn't he?
Yeah. He threatened him last time, didn't he, when he came on? You know, it was very subtle. But yeah.
That scene there, that's like me trying to tell a joke. I just can't stop laughing before I get to the punchline. He knows what's coming.
Certainly does.
Killed it.
They haven't even beamed out
Yeah,
yet,
he's
and they're
like, oh,
already
God, I
just
couldn't
falling
take it
Oh,
apart.
I just noticed that, yeah.
The mask has dropped already, hasn't it?
Dark magic.
Like, whoo.
And off they
Did that double
go.
press? Let me just check. No, it didn't. Okay, so they're beaming out. Energize.
And relax.
Terrible.
Did you see
table
the way
manners.
they eat?
It's like, it's quite relatable, isn't it? We've all had those kind of
Yeah,
people
oh, yeah.
over in our house for a bit.
When all the guests are gone
Like,
and all you want to
woo!
do is just collapse into the couch.
Thought
And
they'd never go.
Thought they'd never go.
Mhm.
Yep. I've had those guests.
Oh, you get McCoy's line. I'm gonna go find myself a pot of black coffee.
Yeah.
Very underrated character, old McCoy, isn't he?
Oh, he's the best. He's
Yeah.
always been my favorite. I love him so
I
much.
think
he's
he's my
terrific.
favorite too. Yeah.
This is almost like all the other actors, all the other characters have left the transport room, and I think the camera zooms into Spock.
Yeah, well, Spock's disappointed because
Uh-huh.
obviously he wants everybody to realize that this is the best way to go, but obviously, you know, they all are. Yeah, they just basically don't want to know because they're so used to, as what's his name said before he left, isn't it? That their generation's going to have a hard time living in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was thinking about this because when we done the last stream and they had the meeting and Spock kind of sprung it on Kirk that he's going to be the leader of the delegation. And you're thinking, well, that was a kind of nasty move. But looking at it now, having had a week to think about it, a whole week, it's like it needed to be Kirk, because if people like Kirk can't accept it, then nobody will. People like Kirk have to accept it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't
Yeah.
leave him out of it. You've got to have him in there, and he has to agree with it. Otherwise, it's never
Yes.
going to happen.
Yes, definitely.
There
It's
was
the
an old
dinosaurs.
Vulcan proverb.
The old people, the old ones, the old guard are the ones you've got to convince. The new ones be easy to convince, but you've got to convince the old to make peace, haven't you?
Yeah,
Mm.
we need to convince the Mega Geek about new ways of life that's going on, don't we?
What's that? What are you talking about?
I'm
Yeah.
talking bollocks. Should we move on? Okay.
Only
So-
Nixon could go to China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, this the camera zooms into Spock, and it's almost like Spock is looking through the fourth wall.
No, it's not. No, he didn't look at the. He didn't. Look
Yeah, I
at
know,
the,
but that's what it feels like.
no.
He's
Well, I
certainly
got.
contemplating something.
Yeah,
isn't he?
I got the feeling that he was disappointed with
Yeah.
with his best friend that Kirk didn't see, you know, the promise of this. So yeah, that's what I think anyway. I don't know if it's true.
Here you go, folks. CLS Studio. Is William Shatner the only one on this bridge still alive?
No.
No,
No.
No.
Still got
Stulu and well, no, I mean Stulu's not in this scene, but Chekhov's still kicking.
mhm.
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yes. Terrible
Outstanding.
table manners. Terrible
What
table
does
manners.
Spock say in there? He says something. I doubt our own actions will. We will stand out in the annals of diplomacy or something.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't do so great either, guys.
Okay, so what's Kirk looking at here? He's gone back to his quarters.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
picture of his son.
It's a picture of David. Yep.
Yeah.
See him recording
his-
his captain's log there.
Yep.
But not in the bathroom, which is kind of strange.
There's
but-
some interesting table ornaments he has there.
Mhm.
I've never really thought. I never really looked at those before.
What's
He's
the one in
got
the
some sort
background?
of-
Look like scales.
Yeah, it looks like the
Justice.
could be.
Is he Libran?
Maybe.
Look like naval salt and pepper shakers to me.
and then some sort of cherub riding a dolphin.
It'd be
It's
good if
probably
it
it's
was,
probably a space
Gracie.
dolphin though.
Gracie.
Yeah, knowing Kirk, that one will be like a condom
Gracie is
dispenser.
pregnant.
And
It's got his Viagra under there, isn't he?
he's got his glasses as well. Can you see his glasses?
Yeah, because he's allergic to the contact lenses or the weird treatment that they have in the future.
I'm allergic to
Yeah.
Retnax fag.
That's the one.
What
knew
we
you'd
have
know it.
here is right. The one on the left is for measuring out his Viagra. Right? The one on the right is his condom dispenser.
And that's
Right.
full of roofies on the right.
And the picture of his son is the reminder of what happened the last time he got the measure wrong for the Viagra. He's a
do
very
like
practical
this.
man.
I do
Very
like this.
focused.
Yeah, because he's got a banging headache, hasn't he? Note to the galley. Romulan ale no longer to be served at diplomatic functions. I do like that line. Is it just
Well,
me
as it
then?
was
It's-
illegal, I think that was probably already
Yeah.
a rule.
It's more like a
Officer
note to self,
thinking.
isn't it? Note to self.
Officer thinking, Lieutenant. That was that's what he said originally. But yeah. Oh no, this was a bad idea.
This is Spock, isn't it?
Oh
Will you
yeah.
please join me on the bridge?
Why is there a light right in his face?
Yeah.
I don't get that. Obviously, lighting for the set, sure, that makes sense. You want light on the faces of your characters, but it makes no sense in context of him laying
Yeah.
down to go to bed. Why there's
Could
a
be a reading
spot.
light, I suppose, but I don't know.
Does it not come on when he wakes up, or is it on all the time?
No, I think it does go on when he wakes up.
Right.
Yeah.
He's literally just laid down, and
Yeah.
the Spock.
Well, what's interesting is that when they get arrested, they just leave their uniforms on. So he must have, and then when he was in jail, he still had the
Oh,
uniforms
yeah, still.
on,
Oh,
didn't they?
God, must have
Yeah.
stank,
So yeah, they must have smelled bad.
but not as bad as Klingons.
I
This is
guess.
like that's like me on a Friday night when I find myself waking up at 1:30 to get up for B-sides.
Christ.
No, it can't be. Can't be ready. It can't be the day already.
Right, so what's going on here then, boys?
Some
Yeah,
Amiga
reading
Amiga
it.
graphics in the background.
Enormous energy surge.
Is that what they are, Amiga?
I'm guessing. They look that era. I mean, it's certainly the era of that kind of stuff.
Neutron
Looks like he's doing a bit of mixing in the
radiation.
middle there.
Yeah, a bit of Sony TVs.
Yep, there's some Trinitrons back there.
Trinitrons,
You
yeah.
can see the curvature of the CRTs.
Yeah. It's cool though. I think
Yeah.
they look really cool.
Yeah, it's just a product of its time.
Yeah.
You can't be upset. It's nice to see that on the set. It's
But
nice
do
to
we
see some
care?
active
No, we
displays.
don't, do we?
No, we don't.
It's functional. It works. It's fine. It's
Mm.
you know, thankfully, it's not too. It's not trying to be too high tech. It's just very functional.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It
it's
does
fine.
mix rather strangely with some of the other Okudograms and stuff they've got around that are just those flat,
Yeah.
unanimated things. But yeah, it's fine.
Mm.
You know anything about radiation surge? Can't speak. What does Chekhov say? I left this one in.
Chekhov?
Only the size of my head.
Only the size of my head.
I must take my wig off and rub it.
Oh, look at that. Look at that, folks.
Look at that. It's going right up the exhaust port.
Yeah.
So this is when the battle cruiser gets fired on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Indeed.
The USS Ay Caramba,
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
the Mexican ship that we saw last week.
Oh, yes.
Special
Look at
effects are
everybody.
good as well
Blink everybody.
for those
everybody.
days as
Look at that.
well. Visual effects, really good. Boom. I thought they went to bed. They stood up and drank
It's a
more.
very sparse-looking room.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a time difference. You see, it was dinner for the crew on the Enterprise, but it was actually breakfast for the
All right,
Klingons.
okay, cool. Yeah.
They've got a whole workday ahead of them now,
Mm.
or did.
So what's happened?
Is that 1:18 in the morning? Is it when this is supposed to be taking place on ship's time there?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the B. I would say that's probably right.
We have fired on the Chancellor's ship.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Again, all the angles of the frame are just perfect. How the pillar is going off the bottom left corner of the screen.
Yeah,
Really well
it is
shot.
nicely framed, isn't it?
So well shot.
I really do love those uniforms. I know they were probably hell to wear on set. I've heard they were. I've heard from cosplayers who've made some that said they're just sweaty, uncomfortable, but they
Yeah.
look so good, and I love that look of it. It opened up like that, having that flap
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so good.
There are
Just great
two
uniform.
flaps as well, isn't there? There's
Mm.
the inner one and the outer one. I don't understand the function of that, but still looks cool.
Here you go, folks. Dutch angle of the set showing confusion. Yeah, I love Dutch angles.
Yeah, Brian De Palma used to do that quite a lot.
Paul
If you watch,
Verhoeven was well on them, literally.
yeah, if you watch the first Mission Impossible, the way Brian De Palma
Yeah, there's
directs
lots in
that,
there, isn't there?
yeah, it's hundreds.
They look great.
Tim Burton likes them as well.
Mm.
Direct hit.
Get your kit off, love. Oh, it's the wrong movie. The wrong movie.
So, second torpedo's going, folks.
Yep. Ay caramba.
And not back projected that.
No, it's an effect.
Yeah.
It's a
It's an
key
optical.
key effect. Oh, boom.
Back to 60s technology of how to show ships in danger. Just jump around a bit and put some sparks into things. That's how it works.
This
Things explode.
this scene is very, very similar to some of the explosion shots on Wrath of Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of
Two.
2.
Wrath of 2.
I've heard of that one. Wrath of 2.
That
Two.
sounds like a good
Sorry,
name for a
boomer
Jason Statham
folks.
movie.
Star
Wrath
Trek
of 2.
Khan, The Wrath of Two.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
because
like
I was
Jason Statham
yeah.
playing twins.
yeah when I was doing the frames for these, I just thought, God, that looks familiar. If you watch Star Trek 2, you'll see pretty much the same shot. And yes, the search for Khan. Well, there wasn't much left of him. Wrath of 2. I'm old and tired.
Yeah, you're tired.
Take over.
He finally saw Dune, and it's just done him in. He saw Dune 2, and
Oh, Christ. Christ on a bike. Ah, I'm old, folks. Make allowances. Boomer. Okay. I do recommend the second film, though. Okay.
You
We've
do?
lost gravity. Again, all this I
Floating
feel is
cup.
very, very well shot.
I think I quite
two
like one of those
Klingons,
cups.
2 Klingon, 1 cup.
Yeah.
Don't Google that, everybody. Don't
No,
Google it.
no,
That's
don't.
awful.
Definitely don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Or if you're a Doctor Who, sorry, if you was a Doctor Who fan, what is it, Ian? We've lost Mavity.
Oh,
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that.
Ah.
What a load of old bollocks.
oh, yeah.
It's not even shit as it is. It's
Yeah.
beyond. It's
Just
beyond
another franchise beyond
Yep.
Beyond
redemption at this point.
shit.
It is shit.
So, as I said, they've lost gravity.
Torpedo Bay, did we fire those torpedoes?
Torpedoes! So this is where we see the screen's blank, isn't it? There's no red. So it's correct.
Yep.
Yeah, inventory seems pretty full. We're good.
Still
According
fully
to
loaded.
Whistle, yeah.
Ooh.
The anti-grav
Crocs.
boots.
Crocs.
Space Crocs.
This is foreshadowing the exit shot,
Mm-hmm.
which I've just realised.
Yep, they use the same shot.
Yeah.
Rest yourself.
So two.
Wow.
Was it two? What does it describe them as?
What?
Two Starfleet officers in, was it anti-grav boots?
Magnetic boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they come aboard and start firing. Yep, start.
Now, this
Killing
was a
everyone
really
they
bad
see.
plan, wasn't it? This was really badly thought out because they had to put the Klingon bird of prey underneath the Enterprise without the Enterprise noticing, and they probably should have noticed it was there, right?
Mm.
And then they had to send the two guys over there and hope that these warlike criminal Klingons who are all armed didn't kill them first.
Well, but
That's
they were
true.
all
Yes,
floating
that is
about.
true. Because one
Yeah,
stray shot
so-
from the Klingons, and then this whole thing
Yeah.
would have been pretty much very impossible to disprove,
Mhm.
wouldn't it? This whole conspiracy would be for nothing.
Oh, sorry, chat moved up. Here you go. Princess Fiona, we've lost gravity. The situation is no longer serious. Mr. Brown Alliance, thinking
I see what
man
you did
joke,
there.
also not funny.
Princess Fiona sometimes tells us that she's not very funny. She is very funny. Not always intentionally funny, but she is very funny.
I couldn't possibly comment.
Well,
Okay.
I will
So do we-
because I'm on this side of the Atlantic, so it's fine. But if I was lot closer, I definitely wouldn't mess.
Are we liking the Terminator 2 liquid metal effects?
I
for
didn't
Blood
like them
then?
at the time, I didn't like them in the
Really?
90s when I saw it. I thought that looked a bit dodgy, but
No, it's fine.
it's okay. It's
I
okay.
think it's fine. It does the job.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I think it's fine.
I will say there are some shots of I've got the 4K remastered. I'm not even sure it's remastered, just a 4K scan of the film, and there's a few shots where you can kind of see the blockiness, the pixelation of the
Really?
blood.
It was just very early that it was early
was.
CGI stuff, wasn't it? It was about the same time as Alien 3 as well, which had really horrible shadows on the aliens. You could they look like big black inky blobs that followed them around. It just
it did. It seems too viscous. It's too thick, and so it doesn't really seem right. But obviously, they did have the challenge of trying to show blood in any gravity, and this was in fact one of the things that Meyer was really excited about. He really thought he had seen some of this technology being used. He was like, "Oh, this is going to be so cool." To have this Klingon blood, he was really excited about it. And of course, he didn't know that there had been other things in Star Trek where they had shown Klingons with red blood. But he wanted it to stand out on screen. He wanted to have some way to make it stand out on screen, but at the same time, he knew that if they had too much blood flying around, they might end up having issues with ratings. Yep.
So just
for blood,
just changing.
Christ.
Well, they do it all the time, don't they? I mean, it's been going back to the 60s, isn't it? Really, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I mean, Psycho, you had to use darkened, sort of chocolatey coloured liquid rather than blood. Even though it was shot in black and white, they just didn't want anything that looked perfectly right.
The blood didn't look right. They tried. Actually, I think if I remember with that film, they actually did try pig's blood.
Oh, did they try red? I know they didn't.
They tried pig's blood, and it just didn't look good. It didn't with the water and everything. It just disappeared too quickly. So
I know in Taxi Driver they just diffused all the scenes so that all of the blood in that looks kind of darkened as well for the same sort of reasons, just to get past the ratings.
The sensors.
There's a TV show that started on Apple last week called a couple of weeks ago called Constellation. I don't know if anybody's seen that. It's a sci-fi thing, and that's got a scene very similar to this with somebody losing blood in zero gravity, and that looks really cool. Yeah, they're doing the same exact thing, but obviously with slightly better graphics.
Well, Nick Meyer takes full responsibility for choosing the color of the Klingon blood in this film, and he does regret it. He apologizes.
Really?
He says, after the fact, he says, "Yeah, it looks like Pepto-Bismol flying around."
But the thing is, though, Spielberg apologized for Temple of Doom, and I say bollocks to that because I really enjoyed it, and this doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother me at all.
No.
So Nicolas can shove his apology up his bottom because
it bothers me because it's inconsistent with other Star Trek because we don't see the purple Pepto-Bismol blood other places with Klingons. That's the only thing that bothers me.
Well, you could put it down to the lighting on the Klingon ship, couldn't you? You could say they're using a different spectrum, which makes things look different colors, possibly.
Plus, it's Klingon blood. We don't know what Klingon blood does in zero gravity, do we? Is my excuse anyway.
This is a great shot again with all the angles coming off.
Yeah, and these shots where they're coming down the hallway and they're firing, they're shooting these guys floating, floating in the hallways. That was actually shot vertically. Those guys are hanging from a rope on their back.
Oh, okay.
And it's shooting up through a set and so they barely had to remove the ropes from the shot. This is Daft Punk. Nice.
Could be.
It could be.
It's a good sequence, though. I really like this sequence.
So those guys are hanging from their backs, and the camera's on the ground shooting up.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Looks good as well.
Yeah.
I like this film. Don't care what anyone says. It's a good movie.
Okay, I want to question that. You don't care what anyone says, but what if that person says they like it as well?
I don't care.
Bastards.
Bastards.
I changed my mind. I think it's shit.
Nope, they can pound sand.
Yeah.
So here's the guy that loses his arm. Of course, we get to see him again a bit later.
Yeah.
It's implied that he was the ship's doctor.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because McCoy had to step in, didn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
It should have been like Airplane. He should have always had like a stethoscope around his neck, so we would have known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need to do a bit of shorthand there for us.
Yeah.
I think the outfits are fantastic.
Yeah, they are quite cool, aren't they? Those helmets are.
Yeah, the
you
helmets
don't see
are
anything quite like
really
that anywhere
good.
else. I don't think I've really
Really
seen
good.
anything that looks like that. They're
That'd be
pretty good.
great for going to a convention.
Yeah. Get a bit steamed up in it though. There's a commitment to that.
The framing is just exquisite.
Yeah, it's very graphic novel, isn't it? Sort of comic book
Oh,
kind of
how
thing.
good is that,
You
folks?
can see that on the storyboard, can't you? Already.
Mhm.
Yeah, how good is
Oh, yeah.
that?
I love the use of shadows like that in the shot.
It's just so good.
Remember when they used to storyboard films?
Yeah.
Back
Instead
in
of
the
just
day.
making it up.
Back in there.
That's what all these scenes look like. They look like it's something straight out of a comic or a graphic
Yeah.
novel.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely storyboarded all this stuff.
Well, I mean, I remember back in the day when they used to actually write an entire script before
I
approving
know.
a movie.
Incredible.
Don't do that anymore,
Who'd
do
have
they?
thought?
But when
They
you read
don't-
about even 80s and 90s, when you're talking about the films, the blockbusters, and you're reading on how they made it, usually the scripts are getting kicked around for 2 or 3 years before they get started.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somebody does a rewrite, and then they pass it to somebody else, and they do a rewrite, and they cut this part out, and they call this guy back in. And it's just like
Yeah.
they refine it, and they refine it, and they refine it, and then after multiple years, they film something.
Mm.
Whereas now they're writing it as they're filming. It's terrible.
Yeah,
Okay,
and all
folks.
it requires when they when they start shooting is just a bit of a polish now and again, just the occasional line change and things like that. So, yeah, they're pretty much ready to go.
Sword in the Storm. I will say, Genesis. What's that? See what I did there?
So you did that.
Yeah, okay.
Genesis. Genesis is planet forbidden.
This scene is chilling because they open the door and they're just there and they can't do anything and
Yeah.
they just know, don't they?
Oh no, we're being sucked off. I mean, sucked out. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
nothing he can do. He's just kind of floating there.
Blam.
I do like the phaser props from this movie. They're very
Mm.
nice. Ooh, nice capture there. That's a nice frame you got there.
That's why they take so long because I get the
Yeah.
optimum frame, folks. As I said, I could just put the movie on and just press 10 seconds forward. It's not the same, is it?
No, these are cool.
Yeah.
And that's good too. I like that one.
This is a great shot where they just walk out.
As I say, you can just see it on the storyboard. Yeah, and you can
They
see
just-
that whole
they-
sequence planned out, can't
They
you?
just turn around and walk out, and it's such a great
Those
shot.
boots remind me of Marty McFly's boots and Back to the
Oh,
Future
yeah.
2. Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit.
That actually looks a bit like the boot they gave me when I tore my Achilles tendon.
On the NHS.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so there's lots of blood flying around here.
Little globules merging.
And this is the log's been altered now.
hmm
Yeah. Gone back to the classic design.
She's spinning out of control.
Mm.
Yes,
And
never
this is,
seen-
as I said earlier, this is the exit shot with the blood, isn't it?
It gets caught up in the transporter beam on their way out.
Yeah.
Yep. Gravity. Oh yeah,
Splurge.
this scene.
Oh yeah, they just
yeah.
they just fall to the floor, then all the blood
Yeah.
falls down, doesn't it? And it-
Yeah, that's when the gravity comes back on.
Yeah, it's like paintballing.
I was gonna say, yeah, it looks like he's been hit pretty hard in a
That's
paintball
tends to
fight.
be how I look at the end of a paintballing match.
so it's about how many 10 minutes later is it? I think so.
Mm.
Yep.
Have you not a shred of decency in you, Kirk?
Yeah, meta. He's acting, and he's also acting.
We come in peace. Shoot the kill, shoot the kill, shoot the kill.
That's a weird camera angle as well.
Mhm.
If that camera is for communicating with somebody else on another spaceship, why would it be kind of half above your head and over your shoulders? Like, what's it doing on the ceiling?
So I think actually this particular shot was done before they had kind of changed the timeline of how things are supposed to be happening on the different ships, and that originally this shot should have been before gravity was restored.
Mavity, yeah.
So he's kind of awkwardly kind of stuck to the wall over in a corner somewhere trying to communicate with them. Rather, so the camera angle would be kind of strange.
There's no cup holders on the bridges, though.
No, but they don't drink on the bridge, though, do they? Apart from Sulu and his tea.
That seems like a HR thing. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't got a
Yeah.
a sort of a little water station at this.
Yeah, there should be a little water fountain over in the corner.
How do they take breaks?
Carefully.
These are questions we need answers to.
And for that, I shall blow you out of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe him then, Ian? We haven't fired.
According to our databanks, we have. Twice.
Oh, look at that, everybody.
Ay, 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 caramba.
You're prepared
Here
to
we go.
I would say
I can't
take a drink,
unsee it.
everybody.
It's so bad. I can't unsee it. Damn you, chat, for last week.
Shields up, Captain. Oh, look at that.
So looming.
What's the time mean at the
Menacing.
top there? 1, 2, 9, 5, 6. What does that mean?
I mean, I think that's actually just Earth time. I think
Yeah.
I think they're trying to give. I think they're actually playing it really simple, and just to show you that 10 minutes is passing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the ship's clock, and they're really consistent with it.
They don't.
during
They don't use it in
film.
practically any of the other films, but here it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's good though, isn't it? They don't make any mistakes. I was checking. Yeah, it's great.
Well, I would imagine if you're doing the slides, you'll definitely pick up on the fact that if they were.
I thought they'd made a mistake last week, but they hadn't. It was me. I just couldn't quite make out one of the figures, but it was spot on.
Did they put the shields up?
No, they don't. They surrender.
Nope.
But wouldn't it have been wise to put the shields up and then they could still surrender?
No, because it'd have been if they'd put the shields up, it'd have been classed as
war.
Yeah.
Yep.
Signal our surrender. This is where Kirk knows he needs to
but the
surrender,
thing,
or it's just going to go big time.
Yeah, the thing. This is pure Star Trek, isn't it? Because any other science fiction series, the captain will come out swinging, but I mean, Kirk's not stupid. He's a very intelligent man. He's he comes to the conclusion that he has to surrender, even if they do fire on him.
Mm-hmm.
Just to prove a point.
He's a bit more nuanced than people give him credit for.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think a lot of people think of him as being sort of a Buck Rogers in space, the guy that sort of shoots first and asks questions later.
That's what JJ thought.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But the fact of the matter is he's very good at diplomacy, and which is why he always used to have the opinions of both Spock and Bones before he sort of made his own decision.
Even in the 60s show, yes, he had a lot of fighting in there because that was the tone at the time. Mm-hmm. There was loads of episodes where he negotiated, uses his brain and stuff like that. So he's not only two-fisted.
The Corbomite maneuver,
for
example.
Yeah, exactly.
Two-fisted.
Yeah, two-fisted, bang bang. Like Indiana Jones.
Definitely
but
date that.
But he's not rash or impulsive.
He's not.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Unlike the Chris Pine Captain Kirk, who was.
Here you go, folks. Sword in the Storm. Who's got the creaky seat? I couldn't possibly comment.
That's you.
It's his rocking chair.
That's him and Smylexx. That's the sound they had after the film.
Moving on.
Second date.
Here you go. Princess Fiona, look at Kim Cattrall's face.
Yeah.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yep, one.
Fantastic.
One.
In fact, I'll start. Here you go.
Yep.
There you go.
There she is.
She went
Wasn't
backwards.
she
and
great
coming
in
forwards,
Porky's?
didn't she?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She went backwards and coming forwards, mate. I tell you.
Yeah.
That girl.
We surrender.
It's a shame she never had a lot to do in this one.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
they
not
didn't really have a part for her to play in this, did they? With
No.
it being a bottle episode, I suppose it
Yeah.
kind of has to be smaller in scale.
Of anyone in the script, it's her and Chekhov that are served the least. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
They get the least to do. They get a handful of lines here and there, but yeah, they unfortunately, while they do get a little bit more screen time than some of the other films, they don't just get a lot to do. Oh, of course, we later on get a rather corny scene with.
But they do get
With
to
the
hang
girl,
out
but-
and a lot of cons and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
get to be
they had a
part.
second income. That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
What other things were those two in? Uhura and Chekhov?
I couldn't. Chekhov was in Babylon 5.
He was
I
in
know
Babylon
was.
5 for years, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
And he's
It
done
was-
a number of different things, but yeah, Babylon.
And he's
was
also
in
in an
that
episode
film.
of Columbo as well.
Was it the killer?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. He was in it for like a split second. I reckon he got it just because Shatner was in that same episode. I think he just got it because Shatner threw him a bone, basically.
Oh, okay.
He's in it for literally a minute. He sort of says something like, "Do you need something?" And then he leaves, and that's about it.
But they do that in a lot of shows, don't they? I mean, William Shatner had Leonard Nimoy on T.J. Hooker, didn't he? One
Yep.
episode.
Yes.
Yep.
Lee Majors had Lindy Wagner in Fall Guy in one episode as well.
Yes.
They do that. They do that a lot.
Yeah,
Playing
Nichelle
on
didn't
the
have much of an
nostalgia.
acting.
No,
Nichelle
she
didn't have much of an
didn't.
acting career.
No.
I remember
outside of Star Trek.
in a film called Supernaturals.
Yeah.
It was about American Civil War ghosts coming back to life and going after this. I don't know if it was National Guard or a
Oh yeah.
platoon at training.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing I remember seeing her in other than Star
Yeah.
Trek.
She had
Okay, so-
bit parts and she did a voiceovers for a lot of
Mm.
work, but she didn't have a whole lot outside of Star Trek.
Okay, so this is Kirk saying that he's going to go on board and
Yes, the
find out
con.
what's happened.
I have just remembered she was also in Heroes. Remember that TV show Heroes?
Yes, and
She
so
in
was
that, she was in that for the second series. Anyway,
and so was Sulu, wasn't he?
I think he was.
Sulu,
Yeah.
Sulu was
In a later
Heroes.
season, yeah.
Um, Kirk says, because Spock wanted to go, and Kirk says, no, I'll go.
Yeah.
Then you'll be responsible for getting me out of this. We will not be the instigators of full-scale war
On the
on
eve
the
of
eve of
universal
universal
peace.
peace.
Great lines. Told them we're coming.
Tell them we're coming.
What's he doing here?
Oh yes,
He's given some patch, whether it is the
Viridian
Viridian patch. Yeah,
Yes.
it's lucky they never gave them orange jumpsuits to when they were in jail, isn't it? Otherwise, they
Exactly.
would never
Yeah.
have traced them.
This was another thing that was strange because Spock tells Kim Cattrall that he'll be able to track Kirk. So
Yeah.
she knows that he's done something, but she didn't
She
pass
doesn't
the
know
information
how.
on.
But she can't.
Well,
She
I mean-
couldn't, could she? Because they were playing dumb and blind, weren't they? Because remember when they were reported to go back to quarters, they said, "Oh no, we've got to fix so and so." So they severed all communication, didn't they? Did they not? Am I reading that wrong? No, anyone?
I think they were in total communications blackout.
Yeah.
So I think for her to have reached out would have been
Spoiled
an
the plot.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they would have spoiled the plot, but it also would have given her away. too.
Yes,
They would have
yeah,
been.
I
They would have
guess.
been watching for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay, so Kirk's left with his Viridian patch.
Why is it every time they have space doors, they've always got to have a number on them?
Because it's deck one.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah, it's always a number.
they make a lot of mistakes with those in the Next Generation.
Oh, did they?
Those label, yeah. There's a whole bunch of those that are mislabeled.
Viridian Patch is going to be the name of my new post-punk band.
Oh, very good.
Excellent.
Viridian Patch.
Yeah.
Like Duran Duran from Barbarella.
Duran.
Duran.
Okay. So they beamed on board, pleading ignorance, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
They tried to help, but they get arrested.
My God, I'm a doctor, not a veterinarian. Or whatever.
why are they not trying to help him? Did you say the
No,
doctor?
he couldn't
called-
Yeah.
because he didn't know his makeup,
Well,
does he?
He
tried to.
says
No, the
says
Klingon
here,
doctor.
Yeah,
Oh,
he says,
because-
"Don't you have a doctor aboard here?" He said,
Got
just a moment. He
killed.
says, "Don't you have a doctor aboard?" He says, "We did until this disgrace."
Yeah, so he got
So,
killed. The doctor
yeah.
got killed.
The doctor was killed, or disabled at least.
Mm.
You dare feign ignorance. Look at the purple blood everywhere. Like it's just like blancmange
Yeah.
or what's that stomach
Yeah,
medicine?
Pepto Bismol.
Yeah. That's
Probably what it was.
Yeah.
Just cheaper, just get that.
Oh, I got real familiar with some Pepto Bismol this week. We've got norovirus going around our kids' schools, so
Nice.
we all
Oh.
managed to have to deal with that at one point or another this week.
Here you go, folks. Sword in the Storm. I didn't think Klingon ships had doctors.
They do.
Well, this is the Klingon Chancellor. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
it could be
diplomatic
different.
sort of thing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I guess they're going with a full complement rather than just warriors.
Yeah.
It's not a real doctor; it's a GP.
Or it could be like the quote unquote doctors that were treating Elvis when he died, you know.
Yeah. Or Michael Jackson.
Or Michael Jackson. Yes, exactly.
Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood.
Pepto Abysmal.
Pepto. What's it called? Pepto
Pepto Bismol.
Bismol. Is that what it's literally called? Seriously?
Pepto Bismol. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the guy says that in Spaceballs when John Hurt's thing comes out of his stomach, doesn't he? That line.
Yes. Yeah.
That'll do it.
So this is the reminder for the slow kids what's happened.
Yep. Here's a little bit of exposition just to catch up.
That's not so bad though.
No, it's
found
not.
it
It's
worse,
delivered
yeah.
quickly, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
delivered pretty quickly. We're moving through the scene fairly quick, so it's not too bad.
Obviously, they wouldn't have known about the Starfleet crew.
Magnetic boots.
And it is necessary for him to say this. Sorry, I was just going to say it's necessary to say this because, of course, at this point, Shatner doesn't know what's happened on here
Yeah.
either. So he's getting that information as well, which now means he's got the information and now can formulate
Yes.
a plan.
Well, also, though, a lot of people will say, "Oh, yeah, look at his bad writing." It's not bad writing. This is the tone of these kind of shows. This is what they do. It's all part and package of this tone of script writing, if you know what I mean. So it's not overwhelming, so to speak. It's just there and there and there. I mean, you know, it is a Star Trek film after all.
Yeah.
It is. You're not wrong.
Mm.
For God's
So this is
sakes,
what-
man,
yeah.
let me help.
Yeah. Dr. McCoy. I mean, he tries to help him. Do you know what I
He
mean?
does.
It's like, you know, all that Pepto Bismol all over the floor. What's he going to do? He doesn't know his anatomy, does he?
See, that's one thing that I have a problem with because he says I don't even know his anatomy. Okay, so this is the same problem I have with later on in the film with Uhura not knowing Klingon. I'm not saying that they all have to be, you know, just amazing, you know it alls and whatever. But we're talking about the Klingons, who are basically the chief rivals to Starfleet, to the Federation,
Yeah.
for the past 20, 30 years.
I have less of an issue with this scene as I do with Uhura.
Yes,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, that just seems so weird. I mean,
There-
she's supposed to be fluent in God knows, you know, she's
Well,
chief of communications.
Even
and
if
then-
she's not like from some of the newer media where she's
Oh,
this
well, no,
linguist
but-
who knows 10 million languages, that crap. Like,
But they've had so many run-ins with the Klingons, haven't they?
exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Look.
there's no way that she would have been in the service for so long and not known Klingon. There's no way that he would have been a doctor serving for this long, on a Starfleet ship and not have had some knowledge of Klingon anatomy. Like,
Yeah, but some and knowing total knowledge is two different
understood.
things. So,
Yeah.
the Klingons might have guarded everything from their language to everything, because the Klingons are pretty formidable villains, aren't they? So you just take it as read that that's what they did throughout the years, and that's why he couldn't save him. That's the thing.
See, I was going to say this. Internet help desk. She is the chief cunning linguist. She
true.
is.
Well,
Captain
I mean,
Bismol- oh, go ahead.
originally in the '60s show, she was meant to be Spock's girlfriend anyway. That's where JJ got it from.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even know his anatomy.
I have to agree with Artoo here.
Mm.
Dr. McCoy should have known Klingon anatomy. At some
Maybe.
point, somebody would have written a book. Somebody would have found
Yeah.
a dead Klingon somewhere, and they would have written a book about
Exact- yeah,
Klingon
exactly.
anatomy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as somebody said in the chat as well, if
Mm.
you don't know them, if you don't know the anatomy from the point of view of how to save them, you would at least be learning it on how to kill them, because
Yes.
they are a warrior race. So you've got to know where to aim.
Yeah, that's true.
See, I don't even think this was necessary. I don't even need his anatomy.
Yeah.
Part.
Maybe.
It
No,
wasn't
yeah, it's-
necessary. Just
Yeah,
try and
it's not a
save him.
necessary word. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. Okay. So there is a few faults, folks.
Yeah.
It's minor.
It's fine for what it is. It's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, we're still at a stage. I know that Trek and Star Wars have got very, very diehard fans, and I know that there was a whole lot of extra media and books out there by the time this came out, but I don't think the landscape of nerds were quite as voracious about details as we are today.
Damn
Well,
it,
I just-
Jim! I'm a doctor, not a script writer, or a
Exactly.
bricklayer for that matter.
I just don't think it's a necessary line at all.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
completely left it out. He's just horribly injured, and there's nothing that
You
McCoy
don't
can
need it, yeah.
do to save his life. I mean,
This here as well, he's gone into some kind of damned arrest. Well, he's been shot and his heart stopped. It's pretty easy to figure it out, isn't it?
I'm not a doctor either, but even I got that one. Thanks.
He is.
He's gone into arrest. I don't know, whatever it could be. What could have caused this thing?
Maybe it's the massive gaping wound.
Okay.
Oh,
Question.
it doesn't
then.
know Klingon anatomy. It might be an exhaust pipe.
Okay. Can I pick another fault? I've just realised.
Yeah.
Why
Is it that belt doesn't go with that jacket?
Probably.
No, I thought if the phaser was on full power, they'd vaporize.
yes,
Well,
they have
that
in other
is-
shows, haven't they?
the Enterprise.
That's not
that is an
phasers, is
issue.
it? Isn't that disruptors do that? Phasers don't vaporize people, but disruptors do.
Nah, you've seen phasers vapor literally from the first episode of Star Trek that aired on television.
Phasers.
They
do.
use a phaser and they vaporize somebody. Yeah, so it's it's definitely an inconsistency. Like,
Captain-
set your phasers to puncture.
Stunning and brave. Captain Terrell phasered himself and vaporized himself
Yes,
in
Star Trek,
Yeah, indeed. We come in peace.
Star
shoot to
Raft
kill.
2. We come in peace. shoot
You
to
could
kill.
explain that away with just having different settings on it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a million settings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Set it to perforate.
Rinse, wash, spin, all that.
But surely they would have wanted to go on the ship and just do the job. Full power.
Well, the thing is,
Gosh.
the thing is, though, maybe they didn't, because they wanted to leave evidence and blame
Mhm.
what you call it, the Enterprise, I guess.
There-
I don't
There's
know.
another mistake here as well. I suppose you could call it a mistake. So they shot Chancellor Gorbachev,
Mm.
and they didn't stop to make sure he was dead. Surely that was going to be a big part of the deal to make sure he was dead.
No, well, from their point of view, if people got injured, it's still
Should
proof
have
that
phasered.
the Federation attacked the Klingon ship, isn't it? That's all they needed, really.
Yeah, but I mean, if he'd survived and said no, Kirk didn't do it.
No, well,
So you go-
he even if he did survive, he doesn't know. All the evidence points to the Enterprise firing, because the two missiles are missing, and the conclusion is that the Enterprise fired. So even if he was alive or dead, they could still make a case against the Enterprise, right?
Suppose. But
Sure,
still,
yeah.
it's still a
Mhm.
lot more convenient for him to be dead. I mean, they could
Yeah.
have put an
It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
it's
They
gonna
could
be
have
a
shot
much
him once
stronger
more
case.
just to be
Yeah,
sure.
but not for the story though, because but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they
Sometimes-
fired him.
yeah.
They thought he was going to die. They thought he was dead, but he wasn't. Do you know what I mean? So, and he isn't. So, don't let it end this way, Captain. Yeah. Oh
Is
my
that when
God!
he really awkwardly
Wait,
grabs
go
his
back to
hair?
that picture. Go
Yeah.
back to that picture. Look, the face upside down, a mouth, a nose, 2 eyes. How weird is that? Can you see it? Can you see it? It's
Yeah.
weird.
No,
That's
what am I
weird.
looking at?
Yeah, the forehead is kind of
Yeah, mouth, nose,
coming
and
out with a
2
little
eyes
mouth and a nose.
upside down. Yeah. Can you see
It's
it? Ian?
weird.
That's so
No,
weird.
go on.
Oh, shut up, Ian. No, if you can't see it, then you can see it.
What am I looking at? I can't see it.
It's one of those pictures. If you see an elephant or two
Upside
trees,
down.
Yeah.
Larry can't see it now.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Larry.
Yeah.
Hello, Larry.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can't
very,
illustrate it for you on the screen. So
I was always a little bit nervous about this scene. I mean, all you're thinking is, please, Wig, don't stay, don't come off, don't come off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, don't do it. It's got to be a stunt double for that bit.
And obviously the biggest crime of all, trying to take his weave off.
mhm.
Guaranteed, you're not coming back for the next one.
Look at those handcuffs. They're weird, aren't they? So weird.
We've got super chat, folks.
Sorry.
Shogun Auto for $5. Thank you, my friend. My thing was they could always triangulated where the shot to the Klingon ship came from. Hence, is that under or once the Enterprise?
Yeah, I think under the Enterprise.
Yeah.
In other words, not the yeah. So
Yeah.
triangulate. I was thinking the same. I always used to say that as well. You'd be able
Yeah.
to look at the angle of where it's come from and try and work out
Yeah.
where it
Well,
originated
I think
from.
I think the hint to that though is that clearly they've got somebody on the Enterprise who's altering records. They're altering
Right.
stuff.
Okay.
So there's going to be somebody on the Klingon ship that's doing the same. You know,
Mm.
they're going to be.
You would think it
Yeah.
would have been so much easier if to make the story that somebody actually hacked the Enterprise and fired it from the Enterprise,
Mm. Yeah.
and then that ends all arguments, doesn't it?
Yeah,
just-
but I think we're looking into it too deeply. It's
No,
just,
this is what we want though. Just listen, just
Yeah,
talk
it
amongst
is, yeah.
yourselves while I
The,
bankrupt Larry.
150 quid now, 160, 180. Thanks, Larry.
Poor bastard.
That's about 200 now, Larry. Cheers, Larry. That buys the popcorn next time. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, Larry.
It gets the room for Ian and Smylexx.
Here you go.
Yeah, bro.
Super chat, believe it
Monday.
or not, folks, from Larry. I always want to go $20. Made you look. I think I made, as I said last week, I've made Larry look more. Cheers, Larry.
Check your bank account, Larry. Remember, it's fraud. It is fraud,
Yeah.
technically.
So we're getting placed under arrest and charged with assassinating our Chancellor of the High Council.
Mhm.
You've got to do something.
I'm surrounded by extras.
Yeah.
God, I would have loved to have been an extra in Star Trek. Just to be there. Just,
Would you like to be an extra on the new shows, the modern shows?
Discovery.
Yeah.
Well, color your hair blue.
Okay.
And change your pronouns.
This
Yeah.
is for the chat as well. Would you like to be a extra on Star Trek Discovery? I'll start. So it's Y for yes, N for no. I'll start. Mr. Brown, that's me. No. That's due in a few weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, can't wait to see Tilly again. It's
That got 5 seasons. Can you believe it?
because the stupid woke people won't give up.
Oh, it's so fun having arguments with people online about
Oh.
that. It's like it made 5 successful seasons. It's been such an amazing show. It's like, yeah, 5
Load of old
really 5
bollocks.
successful seasons. So they're canceling it after only 5 seasons because the show was so very successful. Interesting take.
Chat saying no.
Never.
Here you go, Princess Fiona. I have a Type 2 phaser screen accurate Hero prop replica. The power wheel in phaser 1 goes from 1 to 12. On the Type 2 body, it goes from 1 to 9. Wow.
Do you reckon one day they'll make a laser gun like in Star Wars, where you see the laser come out pew, 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 like that?
I don't think
Yes.
there's- I'd like to think so, but I don't think there's any need for them.
Yeah,
Probably,
no.
Yeah.
probably
There
not in
will
our
be.
lifetime. Yeah. Okay.
There have been some directed energy weapons that have worked, and they don't quite look like a Star Trek phaser or anything like that. In fact, one of the most fascinating ones that I've seen is basically a lightning gun. It shoots a laser beam out that causes the air sort of to ionize, and then you can shoot
Wow.
an electrical bolt through that ionized air. It's fascinating, but not something that's exactly practical. I really liked the ones in Dune 2.
I was just
Very
going
much
to say the
something-
lasers in Doom 2 are excellent.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
Okay. So Spock is taking, well, he's captain, isn't he? But he's taking command of the ship.
Mm.
Yes, his very logical approach to this I really like.
Spock becomes
Is
Sherlock
that double
Holmes
press? Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
in this. He even mentioned Sherlock Holmes.
Because
The line from Sherlock Holmes.
Mhm.
is it Valeris is saying we should attack?
Yeah, she would say that though, wouldn't
Yeah.
she? Traitor.
Yeah. Trying to avoid armed contact. Yeah, we will be able to follow the captain's movements.
Unless he has a
That's,
shower and somebody nicks his uniform.
You would have thought she could have got a message to somebody somehow
Mm.
after that conversation.
How have you achieved this, sir?
Email.
In Germany, monitoring somebody's movements is an entirely different thing.
Yeah, we must endeavour to piece together what happened here tonight. Da da da. And if we, who wants to do the Chekhov voice? Anybody who's
And
good
if
at
we
it?
cannot piece together what happened, that was my GTA. That was GTA 6
That
Russian.
sounds nothing like him.
Yeah,
Well, and he doesn't sound Russian either, to be fair.
yeah, he doesn't
No.
really know.
Yeah, then we are fucked.
That guy looks familiar, the one on the right, sitting down. Looks like a familiar actor.
He looks a bit
Clayton.
like Jake Busey, doesn't he?
he does,
Gary
yeah.
Busey's son.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Wonder if that's him.
And the
Mm,
Chinese
yeah,
woman,
it's
wasn't she in Generations, the movie Generations? I
No,
can't remember.
No.
In the back.
think so.
It's Wesley
No.
Crusher. It's not
Yeah,
Wesley
it does.
Crusher.
It does look a bit like Crusher.
Mm.
No, he's not irritating me, so it can't be.
No.
Yeah. No.
no.
Shut up, Wesley.
In that case, Mr. Chekhov.
It resides in a preview of The Diplomats. That's probably hard to say as an actor.
I'm digging the kind of beige carpeted type walls.
The furry
Yeah.
wall.
It's kind of
Yeah.
90s. It is
Mm.
kind of 90s.
Yeah.
It's,
I
it's
do
how
like this scene though.
it's how McDonald's looks now, isn't it? As opposed to what they used to look like in the 80s, where they're all really brightly coloured.
Yeah.
I said I do like this scene.
Yes.
Mm.
I love where we go right after this too. The purview of the diplomats, and then you get to see the diplomats
Yeah.
arguing.
Yeah.
So here you go, Drew Gordon. Nimoy's not acting. I don't think he is. It's just so natural. Yeah. Nimoy is Spock. Yeah. Oh, God. So good. And
It's a
yes.
shame I didn't see him in any cons. I would love to hear him speak and stuff.
Oh. I think it was the anniversary the other day of his death, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think, was it last week at some point?
I know his
I'm
son
sure it
made a
was.
documentary
Yeah.
on him, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oof. And that's it.
Ooh.
Dun,
End of
dun,
Act
dun.
1. It's going to take us 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then the next shot is John Shuck screaming at you. It's very nice.
I think we got there, folks. So, as I said, 2 hours, nice and compact. Nice. and compact. Yes, 27th. Wow.
Mm.
Okay. So, do we want to do closing sentence from each of you? Yes, no?
Sure.
Melvin, closing sentence.
I got nothing. I have nothing. But Smylexx can have mine, so he can say something fresh.
Okay. Artoo.
Still a great movie. I really enjoyed the dining scene. It's one of my favorites from the film. You get to see how awkward everyone feels going through this situation and trying to sit across the table from these people that are just so very different from them, and on both sides, right? And everybody, and of course, the gross blue food there and everything. So, yeah, I really love that scene and the jibing back and forth between the different characters. It all works really well.
Smylexx.
Yeah, I mean, it's a product of its time. It's also a product of the age of the actors. But I think it's aged pretty damn well. Looking back on it last week, when I watched it last week, I realized just how much I appreciate this film for what it is. And as I say, it's slowly climbing up to be my second favorite Star Trek film. So this has been a joy to talk about.
Ian, closing thoughts.
Yeah, just again, it's one of the best Star Trek movies ever. Well, but one of the best Star Trek movies ever made. Yeah, and I I can watch this again. It's entertaining right across the board. So,
well, I've got to because I've got to do the slides. So I will be doing the next batch of slides this week, folks. So I'll just say it's a great movie. It's a bittersweet movie, but peak Trek for me. It's so good. Leonard Nimoy, just incredible.
I'll throw something in. See, after the Chancellor was shot, and then Kirk is on the bridge with Spock, and he kind of takes control, and he goes, right, we're going to beam over, you wait here, and kind of gets his orders out. That's him got his captain's head on again. Whereas before that, it was his angry old man, grumpy old man shouting at the cloud's head. But when that happened, that's like, it's down to business. That's something. When the fight starts, that's something he knows, and he just slips back into being the captain again, just immediately. It's like no hesitation. All his doubts are gone. He knows what to do, and he goes and does it. I thought that was pretty good. Very true to the character.
Yeah. I think that's it then, folks.
Woohoo!
We are back tomorrow doing the shite, as it were, the weekly shite. Lots of Dune 2. Was it Dune 2 stuff tomorrow? So that is it, folks. We will see you tomorrow. Tally bye, folks. See you next time. Tally bye.
Yeah.